Mommy, I want the coffee.
And you will have it, my dear. You there. Give my daughter your coffee.
r/entitled parents. Our first story we'll be reading today, entitled Mom Stealing a Child's Starbucks, from user NameNerd77. After that, entitled Dad Makes My Life Heck and then wants me to move in with his family to be a live-in babysitter. Here's the kicker. I wouldn't get any money, from user Astra Rose. After that, entitled Mom tells me to keep my opinion to myself and then tries to trip me, from user Lissy Darksoul. And then we'll be finishing up with I quit my job to move out of state to take care of my grandmother. Send my mother packing, from user Durable to a Fault. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us read your stories. And if you're an author who would like me to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Entitled Mom Stealing a Child's Starbucks. A little background. I have a 12-year-old little sister with Down syndrome and autism. My mom and I took her to the doctors, and for a reward, we took her to Starbucks after, since she loves Starbucks. Our cast. We've got entitled Mother, entitled Kid, about 6 or 7 years old, my little sister, and the barista. So, me and little sister got into Starbucks after the appointment while my mom stays in the car. She recently had a back surgery, so we don't want her moving too much unnecessarily. We got inside and I ordered a drink for me, my mom, my daughter at home, and for my sister. Now, my sister was already pretty upset and stressed out since she had a rather painful appointment with way too many shots for her liking, but she desperately wanted this Starbucks. I go up to order, and behind me is entitled Mom and entitled Kid. I pay and we go to sit down at one of the tables to wait for our drinks, but my sister wasn't having it and was running around crazy. The sweet barista then asks if she wants to watch her make the drink, so I walk over with her to the part of the counter where you could see what is happening. Little sister is amazed and loved watching the barista mix the drink and put all of the stuff in it. By now, entitled Mom and entitled Kid had finished ordering. Entitled Mom went to sit down and entitled Kid wandered over to us to watch as well. I didn't have a problem with this, and both the girls were having fun watching. Little sister got whipped cream on her drink, and the barista let her put her own sprinkles on it. Now, here is where the drama starts. Right when entitled Kid sees that little sister is putting her own sprinkles on her drink, she starts begging to put some sprinkles on herself. Here is the conversation that follows.
I want to put some sprinkles on it too.
Well, sweetie, this is actually little sister's drink, but you can put some sprinkles on when your drink is ready.
But no, I want to put sprinkles on this one.
At this point, entitled Mom comes over.
What's the problem here?
Well, your daughter wanted to put some sprinkles on this other little girl's drink, but I told her no since it doesn't belong to her.
Well, why can't my daughter put some on it too? You let this other girl.
Like I said before, this drink isn't hers, and I did mention that she could put sprinkles on her own.
Mommy, I want to, please.
Well, we're not putting sprinkles on a pink drink, so just give her the darn sprinkles.
At this point, little sister is getting overstimulated from all the yelling, so I try taking her away. But she is so determined to get this drink that she won't leave. The barista slides the drink over to me and little sister, but right before we can take it, entitled Mom comes over and grabs it and gives it to entitled Kid. Me and barista both start telling her that the drink is little sister's, but she just ignores us and gives it to entitled Kid. Little sister starts screaming and trying to grab it from entitled Kid. Entitled Kid gets scared and runs behind entitled Mom. And while I'm trying to control little sister, entitled Kid takes a sip of the drink and spits it out onto the floor.
Mommy, I don't like this. It tastes like throw up.
Excuse me? This isn't the drink we want. Entitled Kid obviously doesn't like it. I want a refund.
Both me and Barista are completely shocked, and Barista starts trying to reason with entitled mom. I didn't completely hear everything that happened since little sister started having a panic attack. Once again, I tried leaving with her, but this girl would not leave without her drink. Eventually, entitled mom and entitled kid leave and throw the drink in the trash. What they say next, though, made me so angry I was speechless. The barista told them they needed to pay for the drink, and as entitled mom is walking through the door, she says,
Tell that little
insert slur toward people with mental disabilities,
to pay for it.
At this point, I'm fuming, and I wanted to run after her and give her a piece of my mind. But instead, I was frozen in shock that someone would use that word to a child. Anyways, the barista apologized and let little sister help make another drink on the house, and even threw in a cake pop. Next we've got entitled dad makes my life heck and then wants me to move in with his family to be a live-in babysitter. Here's the kicker, I wouldn't get any money. Hi, Mr. Reddit. Me and my husband love the stories. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. I'm in the UK, but formatting may be bad as I'm on mobile, but I will try my best. English is my first language, so correct any mistakes in the comments. Our wonderful cast. We've got me, Majestic Eagle. We've got boyfriend. We've got entitled dad, his wife, kids 1, 2, and 3, aged at the time 3, 5, and 7. The 5-year-old was disabled, but his mom and dad saw to him. Me and hubby were talking about entitled parent stories we have heard, and we remembered this little treasure. So a few years ago, I owned a babysitting business. It was pretty small, but it paid the bills and was very popular with the families, and I charged very competitive rates. We're talking below minimum wage for the nights. Story time. So this family consisted of entitled dad, wife, and their 3 boys. Sometimes it was 2 to 3 a.m. before they were home. I was hired under the pretense that it was only going to be about 4 or 5 hours, give the kids their dinner, bathe the oldest to youngest, get them all ready for bed, then chill until the parents came home. No problem, right? Boy, was I wrong. A few weeks into looking after the family, I was given basic training, how to give the 5-year-old his medication, sort his tubes out, and give him special nutrients fed through a tube in his stomach. I got a hold of it pretty quickly, and the parents were happy, so I was happy. For a while anyway. After I had been trained and the kids had got to know me after 6 months, the parents left me overnight. It was all good, but then I get a phone call the next day. Hello?
Hi, OP. Why is my laptop broken?
Entitled Dad, I never touched your computer. I had my own.
BS. When I left, the computer was fine. You must have done something.
Me getting anxious as I hate conflict. Sir, I never touched it to go on it. I moved it out of the way of the children.
Fine. You're only getting half your wages for the overnight to pay for the damages.
I told boyfriend and he went absolutely crazy, as he knew then and now I would never intentionally damage someone's property. I thought this was the end of that babysitting gig, but I get a phone call a week later. Hi, wife of Entitled Dad. Is everything okay? Yeah. I know Entitled Dad blew up at you last week for a mistake, but can you babysit tonight? Entitled Dad said you can have one final chance. Me, feeling a little weary. Yeah, sure. Just let me get sorted after rehearsal. I used to be a dancer. It was already 3 p.m., so we were finishing in an hour. Okay, do you need picking up? Nah, boyfriend is staying with me tonight. He will bring me down. Okay, no problem. See you at 6. So I finish rehearsal, go home and shower, and then boyfriend takes me to the house. I knock on the door, and kid 1 answers and gives me a hug. Hi, OP, I missed you. I patted him on the head and smiled at him. I walk into the living room, and there's only wife in there. Oh, hi, OP. Entitled Dad has already gone to the pub, so it's just me and the boys. I released a breath I didn't realize I was holding, and nod in relief. You're okay doing kid number 2's medical stuff, aren't you? Yes, just go and enjoy. I tell her sweetly, as I'm not a witch after all. She smiles and gives her boys hugs and goes out. A couple of hours go by, and I'm feeling a little anxious, so I text the wife. Hey, can boyfriend come down and keep me company? She replied, yes, no problem. So I invited boyfriend down from my house, and he came in. The boys were already asleep, so it was just me. We watched some crappy films, and a few hours later, Entitled Dad and his wife walk in. Entitled Dad went red when he saw boyfriend.
How dare you have company in my house?
Entitled Dad, I said she could invite him down. Her voice seemed to simmer the ravaged beast building inside of him.
You should have messaged me for permission as well.
His voice scarily calm. Last time I checked, we weren't speaking, I said, perfectly innocent, knowing he was in the wrong. Boyfriend says, I'm going to the car. Don't be long, okay? I nod because I am super tired after all day dancing and then babysitting. Give her the wages, Entitled Dad. She's done her job and not messed up. Entitled Dad reluctantly passed me my money. I go to the car and we go home. Entitled Dad glaring daggers at me while we pulled out. I'm almost in tears because I feel like we're not done and something is going to happen. Boyfriend says, it will be okay, love. Things will work out for the best. We go to bed and are happy. The next morning, I wake up to 5 missed calls from Entitled Dad. I text him, what do you want, Entitled Dad?
You brought a man into my house without my expressed permission. Tell me why I should rehire you.
I tell my boyfriend to call the police. By now, I'm done with this crap and don't care which way this goes. I tell Entitled Dad, I'm not bothered, Entitled Dad. I have other families that are more grateful than you are for a cheap babysitter. He calls again. This time I answer and put it on speaker. He's raging down the phone, making threats to the love of my life, and I snap. Listen, Entitled Dad, say anything you want about me, but say anything about my boyfriend, then you've got a whole different world of heck coming your way. You know what? I quit, and I'm changing my number.
You can't quit. You have a contract.
Not a legal binding one. It was just a copy from Word. No lawyers or anything, so I can quit when I want.
But I need you.
No. Goodbye forever. I hope your kids and wife one day see you for the true jerk you are, just because your babysitter isn't free at your beck and call. Click. So a few weeks go by, and me and boyfriend are now engaged and are living happily together and not heard anything from Entitled Dad. Then I get a message on Facebook. I actually forgot to block the idiot.
Hi, OP. Me, wife, and kids are moving to a new town and want you to become our live-in babysitter.
I know I'm gonna say no, but I'm going to humor him anyway. I tell him, okay, I'm just going to write down some details.
You don't need to. All your bills will be paid, but you will have to leave that boyfriend of yours and won't be getting any wages.
I am stunned. This guy makes my life heck and then has the audacity to demand I leave my partner, live with them in a town I don't know, and not get paid? Haha, funny. So, I'm not going to get paid. How do I get new clothes, toiletries, and have savings, and you're expecting me to live in a town I don't know?
Yes, and we will pay for it all.
Let me think about this. Absolutely not. I'm done with your antics. I'm done with you. Find a new babysitter. But I'm telling you now, you will find absolutely no one as cheap as me. And blocked. It's been 6 years now, and not heard anything from them. Me and boyfriend got married in 2016, and we celebrate our anniversary later this month, July. Just over a year after we married, we were blessed with our beautiful son in Christmas of 2017. Next we've got Entitled Mom tells me to keep my opinion to myself and then tries to trip me. Hello, Mr. Reddit and all-powerful Re-Army. I did post this story on the Entitled Parent subreddit, but I wanted to share it here as well. Feel free to use it or not. It's not that interesting. English is my only language, and spelling isn't what worries me about this or any post really. I am very dyslexic, so how I phrase things can make reading my stories a little difficult. I have been bullied into removing posts before because of this problem. I work hard on making sure everything is as clear and concise as possible, but I'm only human. A little extra backstory about myself. I'm incredibly awkward and spent much of my youth completely socially isolated, so I have a very strange personality and strange tendencies. I'm not autistic, but due to reasons that don't need to be recounted here, I have PTSD and PT-induced agoraphobia, social anxiety disorder, and an extreme social fear of being in trouble, especially while in public. These fears drive my strange personality, as well as a constant need to do what is right at all times. I can say this has made me a very unpopular person. The scene of The Incident, Walmart, so classy I know. You have me, the strange one. There is entitled Mom, the entitled bag of this story. Her hellspawn, who is maybe 4 years old, entitled Kid, and the Walmart worker. My significant other and our daughter were also with me shopping, but we had separated at the point where the incident occurred, and they did not witness what had happened. Lucky them. After spending about an hour shopping, we were about ready for checkout and decided to go over our list and what was in the cart. I noticed something was still in the cart that I didn't want, and my significant other noticed some things that had been forgotten that were on the list he needed to get on the other side of the store. My significant other takes the cart and our daughter and goes one way, and I go the other way to put the item I didn't want back. This is one of those things that I was explaining as being an often looked at strange behavior. If I choose to not buy something, I will put it back where it came from, whether or not it is a perishable. I was in the general area where I had gotten this item from, but couldn't recall exactly where, so I went looking for an employee who could assist me. I didn't want to leave it on a random shelf and risk getting yelled at or whatever scary stuff my mind was telling me was going to happen. I look down the next aisle and I see a path of destruction as the floor is covered with items that had been knocked off the shelves and an employee trying to politely explain to the entitled mom that her entitled kid can't be allowed to continue to knock down items from the shelves or she would be responsible for the cost of damages. From what I was able to gather from the situation, this wasn't the first time this employee had to deal with this entitled mom, and she was at her breaking point with the whole thing. Of course, saying anything to an entitled mom can set them off like a gunpowder keg, and this lady was just waiting for an excuse to explode, and she did just that. She went into an outrage, and she started screaming craziness at the Walmart worker. "My son is a darling. He isn't damaging a thing, stupid jerk," entitled mom screeched. The worst part was every time the mother yelled and cursed, the more her son acted out by throwing more items from the shelves onto the floor. The entitled mom actually stamped her feet like a raging bull when she was screaming as well. It was like a strange temper tantrum. At this point, I had enough, and I could see that Walmart worker herself was actually on the verge of tears. I'm not sure where I mustered up any kind of courage, but I managed to and confronted entitled mom myself. "Listen here, lady. What gives you the right to talk to an employee like that? It is rude and uncalled for, not to mention abusive. Can't you see what you are doing has an effect on your son, or are you just that dense?" I admit, I may have gone a bit too far with the last part of what I had said to her, but she really upset me. Then entitled mom said, "Keep your opinion to yourself, you stupid girl." I seriously wanted to facepalm on that line. I don't look my age. I never have. I can guarantee that I was older than entitled mom, so I giggled a bit, and I'm sure that was a mistake. So while I was confronting entitled mom, the Walmart worker had started putting some of the items back on the shelves, and she had discreetly contacted security to monitor the situation in case things were to get out of hand. At this point, entitled mom has her face in her phone, so I finally get a chance to ask her assistance in getting the item I had back at the correct shelf. Entitled mom decided that this would be the perfect time to exact some sort of revenge on me for getting mouthy with her, and she attempted to trip me. I managed to not fall, but I was definitely very angry about this. Something I have left out of this story is the fact that I'm disabled, and very obviously so. I have knee braces on both knees, ankle braces, elbow braces, and wrist braces. Although I don't always wear all my braces at all times, I do wear the majority of them and walk with a noticeable limp. After Entitled Mom started screaming at both Walmart worker and myself again, I turned around to see about the funniest thing ever. Entitled Kid was jumping up and down on at least one box of hair coloring, and the mix was everywhere. Security escorted Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid out of the store. She was only given a 90-day ban and had to pay for the cost of the hair color. It was one of the more expensive ones as well. She refused to pay when she left. I heard the security desk telling her that even after the 90 days, if she didn't pay, her ban wouldn't be lifted. So she's probably still banned to this day simply because of her attitude. When I returned to that Walmart about 1 month later, they had rearranged the shelves of hair coloring, with least expensive closer to the bottom and the most expensive at the top. And our final story of the day. I quit my job to move out of state to take care of my grandmother. Send my mother packing. So, I've been watching a lot of these videos on YouTube about entitled parents, malicious compliance, etc. Mr. Reddit is definitely my favorite. Oh, thank you, Durable. So I decided to post one of my own. I'm sorry about my English. It's my first language. I'm just an idiot. Plus, I'm doing this on mobile. Sorry if it's long. Cast. We've got me. We've got my mom, entitled and secretly evil. And grandmother, Nana. It's short enough. Let's begin. My entitled mom was heading to a state up north, close to the west coast. Let's just say it's the potato state, to get away from an abusive relationship and drugs because she's pregnant. Big problem where we lived. I decided to join her because I heard that my Nana fell down the stairs to the basement and couldn't get to a phone to call for help. Roughly 12 steps. No one was around to check on her for 3 days. She didn't live alone technically, but my cousin, who claims to still live here, never stopped by until I showed up. And my aunt is kinda just fixated on her new relationship and lives with her new boyfriend now. Anyway, when we showed up, my Nana had no idea we were showing up. Big surprise and a lot of fighting with my aunt to let us stay there till we found a place to live. She actually was pretty understanding and generous with letting us stay there because my entitled mom is more than just a black sheep in my family. Only reason was because my aunt really loves and respects me. Not 2 days of us being there, my entitled mom starts yelling at my Nana and accusing her of stealing her clothes, calling her by her first name, which really rubs me the wrong way because of how disrespectful that is, and I know it feels like 1,000 daggers in my Nana's heart. Was just constantly going through all the drawers in the house and even broke the sink because she wanted to fix the plug thing on it. Just a lot of tweaker actions. At this point, my Nana and I both know entitled mom is still using and is starting to get more and more violent and disrespectful. I finally had enough and packed all her stuff up that was in the living room and threw it in her car. I go into Nana's room where the evil side finally comes out. I'm the firstborn and have always stuck by my entitled mom's side. Mama's boy, of course. You've disrespected and hurt Nana for the last time, and you need to leave. I have already packed up your stuff in the living room and the car, and if you need help with everything here, I have no problems helping you, cause I love you, but you can't stay here anymore. I go and start to grab some of her clothes on the ground. Don't touch my stuff. She starts punching me in the face and pounding on my chest like a 3-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. Mom! Mom! I'm stunned at this point and just pushed her back. What is wrong with you? I'm your son. How dare you call for Nana after everything you've done to her? You have no right to bring her into this. You're out of here. I make 2 more trips into the room, grabbing more of her stuff, tossing it into her car, enduring her punching me before she locks the door. If you're not out of here in 20 minutes, I will remove you. Clock's ticking. My Nana says, please don't do this. It's not worth it. No, you don't deserve any of the treatment she's given you. I came here for you, not her. Me yelling back to the room. 15 minutes.
Go away, son.
I'm outraged at this point. Don't you dare call me that after what you just did. No mother would treat their son like this. You aren't my mother anymore. All I see is a strange monster locked in a room like a darn coward, 'cause you don't know how to act like a decent human being. To wrap up what feels like a long story that was pretty much summarized, she packed up the rest of her stuff, put it in her car, and decided to wait until I came back from a walk. She tried to say something, but I just cut her off and said, "You have hurt me more now than any other time of my life." I walked inside and for the first time in years, bawled my eyes out into a pillow so no one could hear me. I haven't talked to her since. I don't really plan to, and it's actually been quite peaceful for the last month or so. Thanks for kind of letting me vent and listening to my story, even if I don't feel better having written it. And congrats to our re-generals of the day, Lyric the Cat, Paige, Random Fandoms, and Chrissy Udi. Become our next re-generals by dropping as many re's as you can in the comments below. That's all for now, but don't be blue. I'll be back soon with more stories for you. Remember to listen to Mr. Reddit every night so your dreams will be wonderful like you are and bright.